Conservative studies, public policy polling, liberal polling group out of North Carolina has just released a poll that shows most Americans now side with the Tea Party, not with the Occupy Wall Street movement. That's why Occupy Wall Street's being disbanded. That's why the mayors got their phone calls. That's why they had their collusion phone call. And that's why the protesters are being moved out. The only place the protesters, from what I gather, are surviving is Santa Cruz. They just don't have the guts to. Nobody wants to go in there and catch the lice and the scobies or whatever I never heard of this before. Scabies, whatever this disease that's floating around is. And nobody wants to go. They're leaving them alone. Scabies, whatever. I never heard of it until now. All I ever heard about was gonorrhea. I never heard of this one. Doesn't matter. Nobody wants to go in there and catch it. In Santa Cruz. Public policy polling, Occupy Wall Street favor fading. The dirty little secret was it was never big. There was never a public romance with the Occupy Wall Street movement. Occupy Wall Street. You want to know what Obama did before he became anything else? A community organizer? This was it. This is community organizing. It's not the backbone of America, thank God, that was gathered in these tent cities. You know, you've like I said yesterday, you've got to be good on TV to make it in American politics, and those people blew it. There's not one of them that looked any decent on TV. My God, the human debris. It was an endless parade of human debris. Every Occupy encampment was nothing but that. Human debris on parade. There was never any public romance with it. There was never any public enthrall with it. People looked at this with shock and awe in their faces. Oh, my God. Hoping and praying that this was not the country. They want us to believe that there was some sort of affection for these people. Yeah, you ask them what you wanted, and that was a disaster. They couldn't tell you. Half of them didn't know why they were there, other than free meals, free drugs, free sex, and maybe some camera time. What? You think? And of course it's the 60s. Of course, the 60s, as I pointed out, they were really protesting something in the 60s. The 60s, they were being drafted and sent off to a war that nobody wanted to fight. What's got them agitated this time, supposedly, is student loans. Now, I'm sorry, but the two just don't have any congruence. Protesting being sent off to die in a foreign country versus a student loan that's in arrears, I'm sorry, doesn't say a whole lot for the current generation. Just wuss wimps, whining little, who really, in other words, this is what everybody always saw them as. Some Democrats, the regime, they held out hope that this movement would be publicly adopted and understood as representing the country and upset at Bush and Wall Street, but they blew it. Because liberalism is a minority in this country. It's a minority of thinking. Liberalism, in order to have power, has to govern against the will of the people, which is what this regime and the Democrat Party in Congress has done. And it ain't going to fly. It isn't flying. So now, with the public policy polling data coming out, talking about how all of a sudden, there's been a shift. Shift. My shrinking rear end. Shift. There has never been any public support in a majority basis for Occupy Wall Street, but now they got the polling. Oh no. Most Americans now side with the Tea Party. Okay, call Bloomberg. Shut it down. All right, call up in Portland. Shut it down. Call them up. Get them on the phone.